This episode is brought to you by the feature film Wall of Flesh, a vintage comedy. A faded musician and lovable curmudgeon must reassemble his motley band of misfits in order to provide for the spermatozoan that got away. Streaming now on Amazon. This is another episode of No One Gives a Shit Whatsoever, also known as Unnecessary Talk with Brian Sturges. Today's guest under our federal quarantine is the great artist. There's so many titles I don't know what to give you. Producer, songwriter, rapist, JTronius. See, right? Now, so say hello and give us a shout out and give us all your social media up top while people are still listening, if they are.
Hello, everyone. This is JTronius, a.k.a. Governor of the Galaxy, an entertainer and an entrepreneur. And you basically, all you got to do to find me is Google me. There is no other JTronius. So just type in JTronius and you'll find where I'm at all over the damn galaxy.
I love it. You know, I've been playing Wetter on a loop. Like, you can't listen to that song once. It's impossible. Yeah, I really haven't. Every time I've listened to the song, I played it at least 3 or 4 times just in a row. You don't want it to end.
You love the horn lines on there. No.
Well, you know I love a quality horn line.
Yeah, man. Good shit. Yeah, man. That's a good time. That's fun, man. I recorded that one a while ago. And actually one of my friends out there in LA, Ray Montero, is on the trumpet. He's the one playing the trumpet line.
That's a great horn line. I mean, it really is. It really stays with you.
Yeah, man. That was a fun one. The video was real fun too.
So for all of the millions of people watching who aren't familiar with you that know me, what's give us your basic. What's your deal, and why are you so awesome? Which is why you're on here.
Well,
basically tell us what you do and promote what you do.
Well, the main thing is I am a new age funketeer. You did have contributions to that, you whether you realize it or not, and that's what it is. I am an official knighted funketeer by the funk god Bootzilla himself. You are one of my favorite artists. I'm a fan. I'll just say it. I'm going to kiss your ass a little bit because I'm a fan of your music. Dude.
But you got to listen to Wetter. There's a video on YouTube. It's not a bad thing to watch if you like curves on a woman.
Pools and women and water guns,
boats and hoes, Catalina wine mixers. Yeah, with the whole thing. But you are an incredible funk musician you really have that kind of psychedelic George Clinton, Bootsy Collins, I'd rather be with you. And I got to tell you, as you know, that's what I think it's all about. During the 60s, there was James Brown and the Beatles, and I could give a shit about the Beatles, So
they have some amazing songs, though. You got to give
Yes. I'm just saying, in terms of what I resonate with, that I'm going to listen to in the car will be funk and jazz, and not, I want to hold your hand. I can't listen to it. I can't stand it. Now they're great songwriters and they have great songs, but certain songs like I hate pop, as you know. I cannot stand pop. I like something way in back of the one over here.
You've always been that way, man. You've always been like that, man. And that has not ever changed.
Yeah.
I changed into that. If we think about it from when we first met till now, but you got to basically see the whole transformation if you really think about it.
Well,
I was so 90s R&B, button-down shirt.
Usher. You were all about Usher. I remember. So let's start by saying that you and I were our very first college roommates at Berkeley, 1997. And
yes.
That was a long time ago, my friend.
You better believe it.
Wow. And you were all about Usher, and you'd be like, ladies, why don't you come up and listen to some Usher? It was like your move was like, have you heard? And you would always kind of throw it in where it was like a musical experience. Like, oh, we'll come up, we'll talk about the lyrics and how does this make you feel? It was the greatest con I have ever seen in my life. Oh, one after the other, and Usher. And I just have to, close my eyes and let me not say bite the pillow. That would be a sound bite I don't want. But, you had a lot of ladies, if I don't mean to call you out, but you were doing okay.
Listen, man, I'm still a free agent and I ain't ashamed of the con game has changed a little bit, but the main mission remains the same. You know what I mean?
We are hunters. I mean, I go to a butcher now, but I'm a hunter. You know how it goes. But you were all about Usher, and what was the one? Because Usher was 19 at the time or whatever, right?
He's kind of right there at our age, and Usher was definitely he definitely was big. But I don't know if you remember too. I was really big into Maxwell at that time.
Oh, okay.
That could be our middle ground. You know, like Maxwell was definitely a heavily influence of mine. So I probably played Usher to be cool, but then if I really wanted to get him going, I had to put that Maxwell.
Now this may be silly. Was he playing guitar?
Maxwell, was he playing guitar?
Yeah. Did he ever play guitar in addition? I think I saw a video where he's playing like an acoustic guitar, singing a song one time, but I've never really seen it since. And I may be remembering something.
I do think that he is a musician. I do think he can play a couple instruments. You don't see him doing it.
Right. It was like it was one of those kind of small concerts. I think he had like a black guitar.
We're talking about the unplugged that he did. But yeah, like a while.
Probably. It's been a while. I haven't, but you know what? I'm definitely going to, after our conversation today, I will probably spend the rest of the day listening to the people who we're going to talk about, man.
And it was funny because back then you always like, dude, listen to this old school shit. That's all well and good.
That's all well and good.
I wasn't hearing you. Now I totally hear you. Now we're on the same page. But I still love that 90s shit though. Like I still love it because it was my start, when I first really fell deep in love with music. And at the same time, them dudes are smooth as hell, man. All those singers, it was all about the ladies.
I always wanted to be the guy in Boyz II Men with the deep, deep voice. I just wanted to come in for that one line of song, just one. Just like the Temptations. They always gave him like one line real deep, and that was it. That's enough.
Hell yeah. That deep voice never hurts nobody.
Yeah. So where can we listen to your music?
Man, I got stuff all over the place, man. iTunes, Tidal, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. Dog, I'm the governor of the galaxy. I'm everywhere. I'm every damn where, bro.
Yeah. I was just watching a animated video of yours.
Yeah.
That seemed like a tremendous amount of work for that video to be made. That's very cool. Whoever did that, congratulations to them because it's very cool.
That is I don't know if he's from New York, but he currently lives in New York. That's a guy named Matt McKinnon. He was in school. He was at art school at the time when he did that. So I caught that at a very decent
rate. Yeah. You got a good price on that one? Good. Yeah, I got you.
So, and that was funded by marijuana. Shouts out to Mary. and that was really how I wanted to come out in the beginning. That was literally into my solo career. That was my first solo career video. So I want to come out different from everybody. And man, we teamed up. Me and Matt teamed up, and we killed it, man. It was a fun thing to do, man.
It was definitely great. And like I said when we started, there's something about your music that I just want to loop over and over. It's like you want to spend 10 or 15 minutes with it, and not just the 3 or 4.
That's the mission, man. I want to get people hooked, so that makes me feel good that it's working.
So when did you know that you actually wanted to go into music as a career? So I met you at 18, right? So you had obviously decided before that.
Yeah. Honestly, it was 8th grade, towards the end of my 8th grade. And our choir teacher had let me and a couple of my friends, I had started a group back then in junior high school called Flow. And I was always the one trying to put the practices together, and the rest of the school caught wind of us doing that because we used to practice like in the school, like, in like certain hallways where the echo was, so you get that acapella echo thing going on. So they heard about us doing it, and then our choir teacher let us perform in front of the whole junior high school, and we got up there and like they went nuts. And that next day, my life had completely changed. That's when I realized when I sing, the women come. And I never had so much attention from girls until that day, till that performance let me see the power of really putting yourself out there and people loving it. So I was like, dog, I'm going to do this shit the rest of my life.
So basically, you found something that you were good at that got you women and said, you want to know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that full time. All right,
Damn skip.
That's
I mean, I already love to sing, dude. Like that always been a thing I'd always kind of love. Because here where I grew up in Texas, man, football is God. And as you know, I'm an extremely big man. So all the outside world was always pumping me to want to be this football star.
Yeah. So, but you didn't have it. You didn't feel it. Right?
I didn't have I love to play just because I love the exercise part of the field and being and playing with my friends and shit. But I never woke up thinking about that. I can remember since very, very little, always woke up thinking about music. This is how it excited the fuck out of me. So.
Sure. Well, that's good. I mean, you can also have your hobby because you don't want your hobby to be music, which might sound weird, but you have, if music is your passion, you also want to do something that's for fun. Football was for fun. And now you have limited head injuries, I'm sure,
I think so.
Are things in Texas like that? What was the movie with the guy from Dawson's Creek, either Varsity Blues or Friday Night Lights, or is that like the same movie?
Friday Night Lights is a very real. Like even in this town I grew up in, Sherman, Texas, everybody and their mom is at the high school football game on Friday nights.
That's just
it is a real thing. I can't say that I can't put names out there, but like Sherman and Denison are right next to each other. They call them the Twin Cities. I definitely had doctors offering my mother a house for us to move and go play for Denison before I was even a teenager. So it is football is God in Texas. It's real. And I was told at one point in time because one of my football coaches heard I liked to sing, and he, in front of all my teammates, he definitely told me that singing was for faggots and I need to focus on. I definitely had heard that. That's how really.
I did not see that coming. Well, I spent a lot of time in musical theater. I've been the only straight guy in a production. And
I'm sure you have capitalized off that. Great.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of that is the benefit of being a straight guy in theater is that there's
it's like going to a yoga
memories,
like going to yoga.
Oh, yoga. I went through a stretch of hot yoga for the last couple of years. Crazy. I never thought I would do it, but I hate working out. I hate it. I don't like it. And they have this strength building hot yoga. So like if you work out for 1 hour, I'm exhausted. It's great. And you have a cocktail, do whatever you want to do before you arrive. And it was I couldn't believe that I did it because I'm so not that guy from New York who would ever think that I would take a yoga class, let alone hot yoga. But it was a blast. And then I hurt my wrist at the same time that I signed up for a month. And then after like day 10, they just told me the doctor said, don't keep doing it. So I like to go back.
Why were your wrists hurt, Brian?
I was working on debilitating loneliness. Things happen.
We'll leave you alone.
Well, it happens. It gets cold in Los Angeles at night. People don't think it gets cold, but it gets cold, and you need to, all about the blood flow. But hot yoga. Would you ever do a hot yoga class? I would pay if you would let me film it. I think you and I should go and take a hot yoga class together.
No damn well, and I'll wear these glasses in there. You know how
that would be incredible. Because how tall are you? Let's put that out there.
I am 6'6".
You could crush me to a fine pink mist just with your hands. And the ladies love that. I mean, come on, 6'6", a big guy. They're like, well, let's see what we got here.
I've been a blessed brother. I have been a very
yeah. I'm white, so it's not as exciting.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I kicked it with you in L.A. You had it. We got pretty exciting. It got exciting.
Oh, that was that was well, you came to Hollywood, and we decided to go see a show, as one does in Hollywood, and we enjoyed it very much. And you fell in love.
It definitely was a deja vu moment. Shout out to Hollywood and Vines.
Oh yeah, yeah, a fine company and potential sponsor. Right?
Yeah. Oh my.
Oh, but yeah, that was, it's good quality place. But that was a blast because we hadn't seen each other other than FaceTime in a 10 years at least, right? Maybe more.
Long time, man. It was long overdue, man. That literally was my first time to LA. Was
it? I didn't remember that.
Yeah, it was my first time ever being in LA.
Dude, do you remember when we went to the Japanese market? Or I don't.
Little Tokyo.
Yeah, Little Tokyo. Thank you. Before it almost got racist by accident. Thank you very much. Yeah, Little Tokyo, and we went, and that's the area in Los Angeles where there are predominantly Japanese people. That's their Little Italy is what I'm used to, right?
Right.
I mean, we were the only two non-Japanese people in the restaurant, and you are 6'6", and you are big, and they were all just looking. You stood up, and there you go. It was like a scene from a movie.
Dog, it's so funny, man, because I have such a deep connection to Japanese culture. They literally gave me my first distribution deal ever in my career.
Really?
Yeah, Japan totally showed dumbass love to me, and so I always love them, and I definitely will have my harem there before it's all said.
Harems. I was just talking about harems the other day. I was wondering if during the crisis, if they're going to come back as people with no skills need food and shelter.
that dude, they said that, I forget if he's the king, I forget what his position is, but there's like a dude in Thailand that he just married 20 women.
Oh my God.
And that's what his quarantine is going to be, him and his 20 wives.
Now, he thinks that's a good idea now, right? That sounded like a great idea. But if we could just smash cut like an 80s sitcom until about 3 weeks in, it would be a very different show.
It's going to be a hot ass mess.
20. Would they all sync up in terms of their feminine things? Like, is that a thing where they would, so then you have 20 women
on that rag? That would be horrible.
Okay.
That would be fucking horrible.
That would be I will bet you $1 American that he will kill himself. That he will. The next headline will be, he just couldn't take it anymore.
Or he'll be hiding in the attic beating his meat. One of those.
Well, it gets cold. It gets cold out there at night.
Yeah. He definitely need a hiding spot.
So what are you doing in terms of the music scene in Texas? Obviously, everything is kind of shut down. What have you noticed between New York, Boston, LA, and Texas in terms of music that you can play? Because it seems as though you can make a living in Texas, right? Playing of supply and demand, because in Los Angeles, pretty much so many people are paying for free and they're hard to get gigs, where I feel like that's why Austin is such a hot spot, because the players want to play and they want to play as much as possible and they want to make a little bit of scratch when they do. Do you find that kind of Texas is a better spot I'm not better, but in terms of you've obviously chosen it and you're doing quite well there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how's the music scene versus LA, I guess? I'm not a skilled interviewer, by the way.
This is so LA, my observation about it, like everywhere has its strong points, has its strengths and weaknesses, right? So Texas, the thing I like about Texas is that apparently it's huge. We have over 7 or 8 major cities. So, and everything in between. So what I've realized about Texas is that it's great for an independent fan base. So it's like you could literally tour Texas. If you get popular enough in Texas, you could tour around Texas and live off of
Make that circle. Yeah.
Right by itself and on an independent scale. And that's what's cool about it. Now, the thing that sometimes it's tough to me in Texas is that, like I got really popular in Houston, right? So Houston, what's interesting about Houston outside of just touring is that if your record in 2 different areas in the whole world, there's only 2 places in the world where your record can go gold regionally.
Okay.
So Houston is one of those places. The Houston area is one of those places, and the Bay Area in California is the other one.
I didn't know that. That's great.
So the wild thing about Houston is when they back you up, that's what everybody told me when I moved down here. If Houston has your back, it's a wrap. So it's like, that's the thing that I like, from my experience, I've enjoyed the fan base of Texas. They're diehard. They're very diehard fans, like extremely diehard.
I think that's what's dying in Los Angeles is there's all the clubs, basically all the clubs that I played at over the years when I did play all the time, they're all gone. They're all closed out. You know what I mean? The Derby is closed. 14 Below, the Temple Bar. The Derby. If you ever watched the movie Swingers, the final dance scene '96 with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn, when they do the whole swing dancing scene, that was a popular club in LA to perform at.
Yeah,
and that's like a Chase Bank now. So live music venues are shrinking. Now there's of course these little shitty, singer-songwriter guy with a guitar in the back of a coffee bar, but I'm talking about like an actual, music scene. They're dying. The Troubadour is still around, but I think it's become harder to play places. There aren't as many, and because there are so many people here willing to give it out for free, it's tough where, I think people do move out of LA and seem to be as successful. And you see people like Ray LaMontagne, the guy's from Maine, right? And if you build that fan base and it grows, I think you can grow one just as easily in Houston or Cleveland or whatever now, especially with the social media, where living in LA or New York isn't a thing. When we got into this business, you kind of had to move to a major city, right? Or within, let's say, an hour or 2 drive. You have to be within a hub.
Yeah.
But now you can, the Tonight Show is being filmed on someone's couch. I like to know that our production quality is on par with the Tonight Show, but you can really do anything. And it questions LA because it's expensive here. Your tax is 10%. They milk you on everything. You're paying a premium. Rent is high.
Yeah.
Very difficult to get into anything where, maybe I'm just getting an old man, but it's like these cities, once you kind of build up, I think, enough contacts, you don't need to be in the city anymore. And
it's interesting, man, because we were just on the brink of them kind of introducing this idea. Like when we first got to Berkeley, it was like, you can be an independent artist, and it was so far-fetched to us that but they were telling us back then that it's coming, and it doesn't matter where you're at now. That's the power of it. Like even with me, I was nervous leaving the East Coast. Because I was in Boston for almost 20 years, and I had built quite a name for myself. So me taking my little leap of faith down here to Texas, and then not even being in a city, I came back to my hometown, this country ass town, and the sources were very limited as far as like studios and other people that like musicians that do the same style as me, and all these different factors. But what I realized is like, okay, I got to really get into this internet thing. And even though I am in Texas, like it turned into a global thing very fast, very, very fast. Like, like now all of a sudden I don't see it as I'm in this country town and I got to get to the city. It's no, I got to bring the people to me around the world through this social media.
And you have. I mean, I see you on there all day. Somebody, thank you to the production staff who just made me another. I'm worried about scurvy, so I'm drinking my orange juice. I want you to know that this is a health-based beverage.
Good for you. Good for you.
But I think also, I don't know, we were kind of the middle generation in terms of Berkeley. When we got there, digital software had just become a thing. I mean, nascent in terms of just about, we all had to pretty much we had to handwrite all of the music, which you wouldn't dare do now, but we had everything.
The production had reels still.
Yes, I remember editing on reel to reel. I mean, digital was there, but very expensive. And I mean, I remember Berkeley was like, we just got a computer lab. I mean, this is the time, right? So our generation, I have this theory that our generation was kind of in the middle, and we got kind of screwed because the generation before us didn't have to worry about any of this stuff at all. And then the generation past us grew up with all of this, and this is all, but as it was learning, you and I are, they're teaching us reel to reel, but realistically, within 24, while we were learning things, they were being replaced as quickly.
Yeah.
So 2 years later, what we learned was no longer a class because it's no longer relevant. So I do think that we were in that weird time of figuring it out with technology as a world. But I remember having to handwrite all those charts, and you'd have to like sign in to get a computer. People like having your own computer was just kind of a thing that you take to college.
Yeah.
I remember they had the Big Apple. I didn't have one, but those Big Apple color ones, they were blue and forensic. Yeah. But so the people after us, that's how they always did it. So we had to learn the old way and adapt right away. That's
facts. Yeah. Facts. We definitely were like we were the ones that just walked into that. Like it definitely was a thing, and man, and look how far it's gone since then. It's crazy.
Well, the fact that we can do this right now. I mean, obviously we have kind of a lockdown situation for everybody's safety, but it's. The fact that we can do this, and there will be a push. I think what is happening now will ultimately push out a lot of bullshit, a lot of unnecessary meetings, a lot of unnecessary flights. Can we just do this? And I think looking at somebody is important, especially if you're, doing business or something, but you want to look at a man's eyes sometimes.
That's true.
I think it will change, there's no need. I mean, I could do these all day long with someone. Think about that. Obviously, because I had just built up a studio and then I just basically took it all down and brought it home now, So my Poor Life Choices production studio is, my living room.
Right. That's cost effective, bro.
The other thing is that digital music now is less expensive to make. So and now on my last album, because I'm an old man, right? They were all players. right?
Right.
Flutes, glockenspiel, banjo. I mean, everything that was on the album. There's a whole orchestra of music because that's what I wanted to do for this project because it was a vintage-inspired project. You know, the old '70s theme songs. So I wanted something true to that. But now with the cost of where, you know, I can make a song now that I'm happy with in a very short amount of time if it's an instrumental, right? And then horn lines, you can really fake them. When we got the technology at Berkeley, and we would try to add a horn line, and it would sound like garbage. You know, you wouldn't ever think to put it out. But now the technology has gotten to a point now where I'm fine. I mean, you can essentially score an entire major motion picture. I mean, you're not going to have that subtlety of an orchestra, but you know, I know people that are just hiring one person to score the whole movie. You know,
that is a factor. But you know, let's even add on to that. Like just recently, you know, I just got through doing this album, and the main producer was in London, but I used a lot of players. But the thing is nobody was in the same room. So even if we don't go inside,
which is crazy, yeah.
I literally just made an album with over 30 musicians, global, around the world, and none of us recorded in the same room. So that adds to another thing. Like,
and that goes to what I was saying about living anywhere. Like, you know, you can just we can just transfer a file now in an email that has better sound quality than, you know, that reel-to-reel 50 years ago.
Dude, and it was crazy. Even just say right now, like I'm working on a new song right now. I've been a dumbass and I haven't set up a home studio in my house yet. So I literally have been recording my vocals. Like I use my phone.
Yeah, your scratch vocals or whatever.
Then I'll use that to put the headphones on, and then I'll use another phone to record my vocals.
Okay, we'll get you hooked up. Yeah, so you could definitely have your process, but we'll get you hooked up for on the cheap because luckily all these prices have gone way down. For like you can get for basically like I think $79 or $99, you can get a whole little Focusrite setup, man. That's all you'd need too, because you know, I mean, a 2-channel, not the free advertisement, but like even like a 2-channel Focusrite, man, I think those things are great, especially for singers and solo players, because you can play your piano at the same time, you know. Definitely. It's so crazy how the industry has changed. But digital music, I don't, you know, EDC is not really, or not EDC, EDM, EDC. You know, EDM is not really my thing, but I do say digital music. I'm starting to enjoy it more. Is what I'm trying to say. It's not coming. You know what I mean? Like it's people have kind of worked it out and made it a skill now. When we started, it was just and processing and the time. I remember doing a reel-to-reel project and having to cut that and edit the video and put this tape on this tape, and you know, it looked like old blurry editions.
I think our position is a great one because the way that I look at it now is that we are the bridge between the old and the new. So, like to me, like that's
we're the old
thing is that because we can combine it. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I enjoy about it. The way I perceive it is that even now, like yes, I like the new age stuff, some of it, but I can add the two because I've been exposed to both. You know, so that's what I feel like that's where our power lies, is to be able to combine the two. That kind of gives us an edge. You know what I mean?
Right. The old school, right. To be able to mix it, which is nice. Well, I agree with you that because our kind of generation can do both. I'm obviously bookending here, but we can record digital music and we can get a group and we can write out the charts. You know what I mean? We can do that. And DJing has gone a long way. A buddy who does a lot of work for us over, shout out to Hazy Fox. He does DJing. I mean, and it's great. And it's stuff where you can really make, it's just great music to put on that I didn't, you know, before it was terrible, but now, I mean, you can, DJs weren't a thing. When you and I were young, a DJ was like Casey Kasem, right? And he'd give us the countdown. And now What's the mouse head, mouse X, shed mounts, rat fuck? What's the one with the rat face? Rat head, mouse head, rat.
What's that dude?
Mouse head. I know there's Marshmallow, and then a guy. He's in Vegas.
DJs have always been strong, man. Like if you think about
Dead Mouse.
Yeah, like if you think about it, though, DJs have had a very prominent place. Period. Like especially if we go like into the hip hop world, like when you're dealing with hip hop, when we basically were born, so hip hop was born around the same time as us, and it all starts with the DJ. So the DJ has always been a very, very strong position in the hip hop world, but then it got bigger in all genres with time. But like we can give that to hip hop. Because like without those DJs playing, like doing all those parties in New York, hip hop would have never started.
Hey, Mr. DJ.
Yeah. Man.
DJ. The wedding, Electric Slide.
Yeah.
That's the new one. The TikTok dancing.
I don't even know the TikTok thing. I'm so far behind with TikTok.
I think we're too. I don't think we're allowed on there. I think it's for like kids. I think we're too old, but that's okay. We can drive a Cadillac and.
Ooh,
I mean, we can do grown up things. We don't. Need,
in my world, the space Cadillac. That's what that cartoon video was. The space Cadillac. That I will hopefully before our lifetime is over, literally can drive a Cadillac through the sky. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. I still have from the movie. I have the 1969 Lincoln Mark III. Yeah, I still have it, and in fact, it's sitting in my garage unregistered with no insurance because I got to get work on it. And both of my mechanics who worked on it sold their buildings and just closed. So I got to find. Basically, I have this beautiful car that I couldn't drive right now if I wanted to, and I need to get it fixed, but. We're in a lockdown, but I still have it. 69, black on black.
Oh man, that's a fly car. That shit was fly.
Oh yeah, and driving it on a highway, it really is like driving a boat. There's just something. It's like the wheels are loose, if that makes sense. If you ever driven one, because it has the power steering.
Yeah,
but it's 4,200 pounds, I think. V8,
Ooh, you love it. I know you.
I do because it's. It has, the exhaust just billows. That guy with the old car?
Yeah.
It's like Uncle Buck, basically.
But, I mean, that's also a popular thing out there in Cali. The old school rides are definitely popular.
I got to find a mechanic because it really is, it's not that pretty, but it is a kind of a classic thing. And I'd spend a little bit of bread to fix it up, but, you'll be chasing it in, these old cars. But if I could get it just running around town as is for fun, it's still great. I might repaint it, if I could get some sort of black on black Earl Shrive deal or something.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember filming with it. We kept dying. So we're filming, it's dying. And basically, it's just because one connection was loose under the car. So like one thing prevented the whole car from going. And we couldn't figure it out, man.
But y'all got it, man, and that was a great movie, man. Yeah, congratulations to you and all the.
Thank you.
Really put that out there, man. It's been cool to watch you pushing that, man. And that movie was funny as hell.
Thank you. Enjoyed it. It's a sponsor. It sponsors every episode of everything I do. Check out Wall of Flesh on Amazon. It's you can watch it if you got Prime, it's free. If not, spend $1.99, you cheap bastard, and watch it. That was an experience. In fact, we talked right around that time too.
To know how much you love film when we first met, to see that you kept going at it, bro. That's everything, man. That's what it's.
Oh yeah. So remember the sleepless nights?
Oh, I'm in a good sleep, and your ass wants to wake me up and tell me about some weird ass movie that just popped to you. Yeah. I actually was telling my mother about that today. I was like, man, that used to wake me up, man. It'd be like, oh my God, I got the greatest movie ever. I'm like, okay, word.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever, man. Just let me sleep. Yeah, yeah. Well, young and dumb. But I made the movie because because again, it goes back to kind of a generational thing where a movie was this kind of megalithic production. If you could make a movie, and this is when people thought less of you if you're on TV. Now it's kind of cooler to be on a TV show than in the movies. But I always wanted to make a movie, and I wanted to make an old stupid movie that was, a satirical take on the old Uncle Buck's and the old over the top movies.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that it happened. I mean, the next one I'm going to do will be a serious one just for the sake of contrast. But it's been a long time. So that was 1997.
Yeah.
And that's a lifetime ago.
Bro, just think about what we're saying. We're going to be damn near knowing each other for almost 30 years now. Can you fucking believe that?
Man, that is crazy.
We're getting to our third decade as we speak.
The time it moves. But this is the plus of technology that we can do this. And, for whatever the times are, the benefit of this is maybe people can bond a little bit with the community, catch up.
Yeah.
Everybody has a little bit more time than normal. Unless, of course, you're one of the hospital workers, which, grocery works and all those wonderful people who are still doing it. I couldn't do it. I would have quit. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I could have a bunch of people go through my line coughing on me and trying to work there. I would just
freak out.
Just take a bunch of meat, run out the back door and you never see me again. I just have a bunch of ribs just in both sides.
I'll definitely slap somebody with a bag of chips or some shit. It's crucial.
The supermarkets out here are insane. It is not an enjoyable thing. And that's I got to tell you, for whatever these are worth, I so enjoy these and I'm enjoying talking to you so much because, again, we have an opportunity to catch up and, with all the negative things that are happening in the world, I think probably talking about it isn't a good way to forget about it, but you know what I mean. You understand what I'm saying.
It's intense, man. It's intense and weird as fuck.
What's the deal in Texas? I mean, how do you guys have supplies?
I mean, right now apparently I don't live in the city like that. So it's a little hectic here, but I'm pretty sure it's nothing like anything like what y'all are dealing with. Or like, I talk to a lot of people in London right now, and London's like literally like monitored. Like I was told that a girl, my homeboy's homegirl went to go get a bottle of wine the other night and she got fined because it's not essential.
Wow. She didn't get that.
Fined going outside doing something she doesn't have to do, that she doesn't need it to do. So
I kind of disagree with that. I think you need to give booze. I think liquor stores should stay open, if I may. Because to be honest, it's all alcohol, right? So the guys behind the counter could just be giving you a shot of the cheap vodka to wash your hands, right? That would be good. Don't listen to me, then die, people who are watching. But I feel like liquor store, all the pot stores are still open because they're essential because it's medicine.
Yeah. They put the loophole on the marijuana, but I have the loophole right now.
I reckon you got glaucoma there with those glasses, right? That's why.
I have a very, very bad case of glaucoma.
Yeah. I have sciatica issues. It's, I mean, you can't see it's there, but it's there. And it's.
Hey, bro, you better medicate there. You better go ahead and medicate.
Yeah.
That California medicine is intense, man. That's one thing. When I went out there, I've always had people say this is weed is from California, but literally being in California and smoking weed that was sold in California was very intense.
It was a different experience.
Oh my God.
I went over to Amsterdam again this past year, and talk about a whole nother world, right? The pot's legal, prostitution is legal, fun is legal, and the sex workers are tested. Basically, they figured out where all of these things that are happening anyway, let's go ahead and, you throw a business license in it and the women get checked and they have it and there's less STDs. And in countries with legalized prostitution, the divorce rates are significantly lower.
I totally believe that.
So, I would never. Let me get that out there in case anyone's watching who may get muffed. But when you walk around, right? So they have the pot shops, and then they just have the women in bikinis or whatever in the windows. Just like, like, how much is that puppy in the window? But it's a woman.
No, I'm never going to look at this.
But, and they're just there, and you have to walk by. And what's interesting is that it's the red light district, but it's kind of like the Walt Disney World. So during the day, it's like families walking around with kids and stuff, looking at the day hookers, which are, as you know.
This sounds like my heaven.
A lot of them are moms.
You're telling me what my heaven looks like right now. So I think I might need to move to Amsterdam.
Let me tell you what. Now would be the time to start chipping some cash in a bowl like I do every year, because the tickets are going to be super cheap when it comes out, And it's just there. They just have the red light district. It was amazing. Just all the weed and all of the ladies that you'd want. And I would imagine they had guy prostitutes, although I didn't see any. I wonder if there's like a gay Amsterdam section where the guys are in the window. I wonder if they have a West Hollywood of Amsterdam. Oh, I walked into a shop called Mr. Leather because I was looking for a wallet when I was there. Just so you guys know, the Mr. Leather in Amsterdam is a gay sex shop for bondage and leather sex masks. And I walked in, and they were all gay guys that were like the vests and I was just like, I really was looking for a wallet. So I looked around a little bit. It was, but they had like the gimp masks and the chains and all of that stuff.
Yeah. I totally don't believe you that you didn't get some piece of leather. I would not put it past you, even as you being a film director and eating props. I'm pretty sure you walked out that place with something weird, and you just don't want.
I kind of wanted to go back and buy a T-shirt after I left because it was, I was like, oh, I would buy a shirt that says Mr. Leather just because, just to see if anybody knows, like the regional strip clubs when you buy like there was a strip club down here called the Wild Goose, and the Wild Goose was on Aviation Boulevard down by the airport. So it's basically was built old-timey strip club, one pole, 8 women down by the airport. And I have heard they had these shirts. So the whole thing is, it's just like this tiny thing, because there's Deja Vu, there's all the big ones, but like these small ones. So it's funny to see, and it's now condos, they tore it down, but it's funny to still see like a guy with the T-shirt on. Because the Wild Goose. That was...
What was interesting about Deja Vu was that it's the first and only strip club I've been into where you put the money into the machine versus handing the girl the money.
Yeah, they don't trust the women at all. Yeah,
that was the most futuristic strip club, whatever you want, the technology I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they're not trying to get their cut. They know so apparently they have to pay, right? So they're renting it. So so the guys, the owners are taking a percentage of the money that you're putting in, and the women get a certain flat rate, which is why I think the tipping is important to them, because that's to them.
Amazing.
But over there in Amsterdam, they had the sex shows. You walk in there, you put a quarter in it, and it just pops up. And
it's a peep show. Peep shows are still
peep shows. Yeah. Well, they're all there, but it's so fun. The families are there. It's just kind of a thing,
That makes me want to cry tears of joy.
Well, it's a beautiful, beautiful day.
Damn, I love you.
Yeah.
Amsterdam. I truly do. Oh, man.
Well, my man, I want to thank you for your time and your conversation with me. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And I'll go ahead and I'll put some links. So basically, if you have any links you would like me to put below, I'll put the weather video because we talked about that.
Cool.
Definitely check it out. I mean, I'm a fan of your music, and I definitely want people to hear it. So, yeah. And the next time you come to LA, we'll experience some deja vu.
And we'll have to go find. I have to go find. Hopefully, my girlfriend is still there. I don't know your name, but I still love you, and I still think about you often. I
will let her know that you are thinking of her. If I see her, I will say he misses you and he loves you.
Yes,
he was a nice girl. Nice girl.
So sincere.
All right. Well, again, this is Brian Sturges with Unnecessary Talk. You can follow me at Mr. Brian Sturges. JTronius, go ahead and give us your social media shout outs one more time, please.
Like I said, you can reach me at Instagram and Twitter at JTronius, Facebook.com, JTronius Jams, SoundCloud.com, JTronius. Google, I always say just Google JTronius.
Definitely. Spell it for us. Would you spell it for us?
Yep, JTronius. There is an I and an us in JTronius.
And with that, I thank you.